There was an interesting discussion during last Friday's vote at the Senate Ways and Means Committee on a minimum wage bill.
The majority in this legislature is hell-bent on passing something this year, being an election year.
Senate Bill 2609 would incrementally increase Hawaii's minimum wage from $7.25 to $10.10 by 2017. Hawaii's only Republican on the committee, and the entire Senate for that matter, Sam Sloan, challenged his fellow lawmakers to rationalize their support for the measure. Puna Senator Russell Ruderman accepted. Here's what they had to say.
It doesn't matter what the wage is if you don't have a job. Hawaii is short of jobs. We should be doing everything possible, meaning listening to the people that do create jobs, to create more jobs. And yet we're not. We continue to put up barriers and additional costs. So thank you for letting me vent, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any further discussion, members? Senator Ruderman?
I do think businesses can afford to pay their employees a living wage, or at least begin to address that. We've heard from the business community sometimes that if the minimum wage increases, they'll just lay off workers. And I challenge that statement because after having gone through a recession, I think most businesses are about as lean as they can be. No one's going to lay off any workers. No one has any extra workers on their payroll. And with the small number of people affected by this, almost every business can afford this without a serious effect to its bottom line or having to raise prices. A lot of times when we have low-paid workers, we, the government and society, subsidize those businesses by providing those employees with food stamps, etc. The business should pay their employees. If someone works full-time, they should have a chance to have minimum wage. And yes, this does raise up the whole wage scale, at least the bottom portion of the wage scale, not just the bottom tier, but that's how it should be. And myself, I'm in favor of the minimum wage increase as much as we can agree to this session, regardless of the details of the CPI and tip credit. In my opinion, as a business person, we're heading in the right direction. The businesses have a certain amount of payroll, and if we're demanding an increase, it should go to the lowest paid workers. We shouldn't be demanding an increase for other than the lowest paid workers. So I fully support this. I greatly appreciate the chairs, all the chairs involved, working towards some kind of consensus so that this does succeed this year. That's the most important thing, is that we do pass a meaningful minimum wage increase. I personally wish it was more and sooner, but I'm very happy that we're hopefully going to succeed in raising our pay scale this year. Thank you.
Appreciate the comments made by my colleagues on the right and left regarding small business. As someone who's not been in business or has a business, I believe that there's a lot of regulations that businesses have to go through just to build a house. You know, the permitting process, the variances. It takes forever to get things done for someone to go into business. I think we as colleagues, we should take a look at how we can limit the time that it takes for people to go into business. So, and I do support the bill as we go forward.
Okay, thank you.
I feel the love in this room. and let me say, first of all, to the good senator from Puna and the good senator from Waimanalo, every one of us that are in business would love to have more people working. We need the help because of the things that we do in this building, creating more obstacles, more barriers, more taxes, more regulations, more fees for business. We'd love to have more people, but the cost is prohibitive, particularly the smaller you are as a business. So I would say finally that while everyone wants to have more money, we should have more of an understanding of economics and how jobs are created and what the true costs of doing business are. And just as we consumers in our state pay on average 40% more for everything than on the mainland, and we wonder why, we scratch our heads as we continue to pay more bills, all of the costs that we put on business to some extent are passed along to us. And if the good senator from Puna wants to take on our food stamp program subsidies, why, I'd be a willing ally for that, since we're #1 in the nation in food stamps. number 1 in the nation in welfare, number 2 in the nation in homelessness. And all of these things are related. And finally, I don't want to let the good senator from Maui off the hook. He tried to tell us that he's not old enough to remember before there was Costco and all that. Senator, you are old enough and you remember that, for goodness sakes. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Just to respond to what the lone minority member had to say. You know, we're discussing the merits of a bill here, and he went into a tirade on what everyone else said. I think that that was inappropriate, and I think that we should stick to the merits of the bill that we're discussing. So in the future, Senator, please stick to the bill. Save the rhetoric for the floor or wherever else. You know, because I think going after everybody this way was really inappropriate.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were
No,
in
you're not.
discussion here. And when things are said, I think
I'm
it's
sorry.
the
I don't
ability
think
of
you're
a
sorry.
senator to stand up and answer
Okay.
those
I don't
things.
think you're sorry.
Thank you very much, members.
The bill was voted through with just one no vote. There are some changes to the measure, however. The amendments delete the provision for authorizing the Department of Labor and Industrial Relations to adjust the minimum hourly wage to the nearest 5 cents based on the Honolulu Region Consumer Price Index. Also deleted is the repeal of the tip credit, instead adding a blank amount tip credit. The measure will now go to the Senate floor for third reading, where, if approved, will then move to the House for consideration. Senators are expected to take this bill up during a full floor session on Tuesday, March 4th.